Well, thanks for coming on this morning. I'm with the Revealer Show here in Tuskegee, Alabama. And one of the things that I try and do is to find everything that I can find that's relevant to enhancing the quality of life of people in this community and bringing it to them so that they will have a better understanding of how they can make it through this society in the best way. So I understand that you have valuable information that you can share with us about the 2020 census. So tell me about it.
Right. You know, one of the things is that because the census is something that people only hear about once every 10 years, that is so difficult for them to really understand the importance of the census to their everyday life. Most people don't realize that the census is constitutionally mandated. And those who realize that it is don't understand how we conduct the census. Most people think that we come to your home, sit in the living room on the front porch with the family and sip iced tea and lemonade and collect the data on your family. Well, we did that through 1950. That was the primary method of conducting a census. But in 1960, we started self-response. And the primary reason we conduct a census is to determine how many seats in Congress each state gets. That's really important because the more seats a state has, the bigger that state's voice and the wider the pipeline of resources. You know, when Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington, there were only about 6 minority congressmen. Now there are more than 56 Blacks in the Congressional Black Caucus, and almost about 46 or 47 in the Hispanic Caucus, and then the Asian Caucus. But none of that would have been possible without the census. So the census is about representation, someone that can carry the message of your community and to ensure that you get the other R, resources. And you know, just about a month and a half ago, I was in a store and someone recognized me. And they said, "Hey, Miss Census, how are you doing? And how is that census going?" I said, "Look, if you're participating, your whole neighborhood, your whole family, all of your co-workers, your associates, and even your enemies, it's a good census." So the cashier said, "Why did she call you Miss Census? I've never heard of census." So the lady said, "Don't tell her that. Don't tell her, take it back, because she'll go ballistic in this store. Don't tell her you've never heard of census." So the young lady said, "I haven't, and I'm 27 years old." So I said to her, I said, every 10 years, we are mandated by the United States Constitution to count all persons. And that's how we determine how many congressional seats that we have. I said, and furthermore, we get all kinds of resources based on the population numbers. I said, if infrastructure is important to you, which means good roads, good highways, she said, "Do you know I had to dodge a pothole? I just prayed that I dodged it because if it had blown out my tire, I can't afford to buy a new tire." I said, so infrastructure is important. I said, in healthcare, Medicaid, Medicare, rural hospitals, community health centers, the Children's Health Insurance Program, and other health services. We're in the middle of a pandemic. So people are really trying to get tested to ensure that they are safe from the virus. And then I said, how about education? Our schools heavily depend on Title I funds, special education funding, money to provide free and reduced breakfast and lunch for children, as well as bilingual education and other education services, including Pell Grants for college students. And how about social services? If you get furloughed from your job, you're going to be seeking unemployment benefits, as well as the SNAP program and the WIC program and affordable housing, including Section 8. And if you try to take away Granny's Meals on Wheels, all heck is going to break loose. And then she said 8 words that hit me squarely between my eyes. All of those programs are important to me. All of those programs are important to me. And then she said, I should know about the census.
What do you attribute the amount of ignorance that exists among the people in a country like ours with all of the opportunities for education and exposure and experience that we have?
Well, one of the things is the fact that what has been discussed throughout Alabama is that how do we continue to talk about the importance of the census throughout the decade? Because as we talk to more and more people one-on-one, the way I did with that young woman, their minds and hearts are changed about the importance of the census. There are two things about the census. People don't realize that the things that are important to them, that these population statistics are used in the allocation for that funding. And the second thing is most people are very, very, very concerned that the information they provide to us will be used against them by some entity or agency. And that's another myth that we have to dispel.
So fear raises this ugly face all over again. And many of these things that it's just a part of our life and survival, right?
Right. And one of the things I tell people, not only is the census required, your participation is required by law, all of the information you provide to us is protected under law. There are two laws that cover census data. Title 13 of the United States Code and Title 44 of the United States Code. Under Title 13, the Census Bureau can only publish information in statistical or tabulation form. We cannot publish anything that will identify a household or its inhabitants with information they provide to us. The law further states that no entity, no agency can get any information from the Census Bureau and use it against you. No law enforcement, including no police, no FBI, no CIA, no ICE or any other immigration authority, no IRS. It cannot be subpoenaed by the courts, cannot be gotten by the president. Under the law, all census employees have what's called lifetime sworn status. Even when I leave the employment of the Census Bureau, I cannot reveal anything that will identify an individual or household with their responses. There is a heavy penalty, 5 years imprisonment and or a $250,000 fine per infraction. And under Title 44, census data is sealed for 72 years. So the last time that we outed anybody, as it were, with the information they provided to us, in 2012, we released the 1940 census, and in 2022, we will release the 1950 census.
Well, I sure am glad to see you this morning, and it's obvious that you know what you are talking about. How long have you been with the Bureau?
22 and a half years.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so any final words then that you need to articulate to the people here in Tuskegee?
What we need people to do right now, ask yourself this question. Have I completed the census for my household? If not, go to my2020census.gov right now. And in less than 10 minutes, you will complete the census. You'll even get a confirmation at the end if you do it online. And what I did, I printed mine out and put our picture on it and put it in a frame as a historical document. Or you can do it by phone. Our call centers are open from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern time every day at 1-844-330-2020, 844-330-2020. Then the third thing, if one of the census workers comes knocking on your door, first of all, be kind and cooperate. They're going to stand 6 feet from the door. They will have on a mask. They will have a picture ID. They will carry a very distinct canvas bag, black with a white patch with United States Census Bureau embossed in blue. They must conduct the interview outside. So we want you to either cooperate or go online and complete it, or do it by phone. And let me tell you why. Ask yourself this question. Will our numbers support our needs over the next 10 years? Will our numbers support our needs over the next 10 years? And the only way that you can be assured of that is take this less than 10 minutes to complete the interview to ensure that you have what you need over the next 10 years.
So everything that we need from the census is within us, right?
Yes, it is.
I thank you so very much for taking your time this morning to speak to the people of Tuskegee, Alabama.
And thank you for being a wonderful 2020 census partner. I need to be able to put you in a photocopy machine and reproduce you, but they tell me that's against the law.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.